My sister excluded me from the family reunion, so I canceled the credit card she used for the trip. The first thing that hit me was the sound. A loud burst of laughter coming from my phone speaker. I blinked, confused, because I wasn't watching anything funny. Then I realized it was a video my cousin had posted. I tapped it, and my whole body went cold. The camera panned across a huge beach resort. Palm trees. Bright umbrellas. A buffet table crowded with plates. My family. All of them. My mother waving at the camera. My father flipping sunglasses onto his head. My uncles competing over who could carry the most plates. My cousins splashing water at each other. And then the camera landed on my sister, smiling directly into the lens like she was the queen of the world. She raised her drink and said, "Finally a peaceful reunion." Everyone around her laughed. Everyone. And not one person wondered where I was. My thumb froze on the screen. I replayed the video, hoping it was old. Hoping maybe I missed something. But the date stamp mocked me, posted 1 hour ago. They were all together. Not a single message sent to me. Not one reminder. No location. No call. The betrayal didn't hit slowly, it slammed into me all at once. My heart pounded as I opened our family group chat. I scrolled and scrolled, searching desperately for something, anything, that mentioned me. A tag. A question. A plan. But the chat was empty on my side. No one asked if I was coming. No one checked in. It was as if I didn't exist. I sat still for a second, trying to make sense of it. Maybe the plans changed last minute? Maybe my sister forgot to tell me? But I remembered clearly, I had asked her about the reunion 3 weeks ago. She said, "I don't think they've finalized anything yet." That was a lie. And suddenly, little things from the past made sense. The way she always needed to outshine me. The way she acted like the family revolved around her. The way she got irritated whenever someone complimented me at gatherings. But this? This was the kind of betrayal that didn't fade with time. A bright notification flashed at the top of my screen. A bank alert. At first I ignored it, but my eyes drifted back. And then everything snapped into place. A flight ticket, charged to the spare credit card I gave her. A resort booking, charged to my card. Restaurant bills, charged to my card. She went to the reunion she hid from me and used my money to do it. My hand shook as I opened the banking app. Every detail was clear. Her name. Her signature. Her charges. And she didn't even ask me. She didn't even warn me. She used my money to enjoy a reunion I wasn't good enough to be invited to. My stomach twisted. The betrayal felt heavy, like someone had placed a stone on my chest. Then something inside me steadied. It wasn't calm. It wasn't forgiveness. It was a sharp, cold clarity I had never felt before. I clicked the button that said freeze card. A warning popped up, "This action will immediately block all transactions." Perfect. I hit confirm. The card froze instantly. Somewhere miles away, my sister was about to learn what it felt like to be blindsided. What it felt like to be ignored. What it felt like to be embarrassed. My phone vibrated 30 seconds later. Her name flashed across the screen. I let it ring. And ring. And ring. She called again. And again. I didn't answer. I sat back on my bed, letting the silence wrap around me. For once, she could be the one chasing answers. Her first message popped up in bold letters, "Why is the card not working?" Then, "I'm at the hotel desk. They said it's blocked." Then, "Did you do something?" I stared at the messages with no emotion. She kept typing, "Answer me. This isn't funny. Fix it now." I replied with one sentence, "Ask the family for help." Her typing bubble appeared immediately. Then disappeared. then appeared again. Finally, no. I'm not doing that. Just unblock it. I set my phone down again. She wanted me to rush, panic, and save her, just like I had done my whole life. But not this time. After nearly 15 minutes, my mother texted me, "Call your sister. She says something is wrong with your card." Oh, now they remembered I existed. I didn't respond. I went to make myself tea, something calm, something warm. The phone buzzed nonstop in the background, but I ignored it. I imagined my sister at the desk, her voice rising, her face turning red, her confidence cracking. Good. She needed to feel what I felt. Not included. Not respected. Not seen. When I finally picked up the phone again, she had sent 14 more messages. The last message read, "They're threatening to lock my room. Fix this now or I swear." I cut her off with a reply, "You excluded me." She tried to recover fast. That was a misunderstanding. I laughed out loud. A misunderstanding? She told the whole family I wasn't attending. She acted like she was doing everyone a favor by removing me. I typed back, "Explain it." She replied, "We thought you were busy." "Try again," I wrote. That stopped her. 10 minutes passed. Then another message came, not from her, from my aunt. "Sweetheart, we didn't know you weren't coming. We thought you were skipping this year." My chest tightened. So the whole family didn't purposely exclude me, they were lied to. My sister didn't just hide the reunion from me, she erased me from the plans completely. The anger hit harder now, sharper. I replied to my aunt kindly, but my mind was already shifting. My sister wasn't just selfish, she was calculated. She wanted the reunion without me so she could be the star. She used my card because she believed I would never fight back. She thought she knew me. Today she'd learned she didn't. I opened my sister's chat again. She had seen all my messages but hadn't replied. Then she finally wrote, "Okay. I messed up. But unlock the card. I'll talk to you when I get back." That was her problem. She always tried to control the timing. She wanted to apologize on her terms, when she was comfortable. She wanted me to stay quiet until then. I typed one word, "No." She exploded, "What do you mean no? You can't do this. The hotel won't let me stay without payment. Fix it." I answered calmly, "Not my problem." She replied, "You're going too far." I smirked. She excluded me from a family event, lied about me, and stole from me, but I was going too far? I sent back, "You started it." Then added, "Figure it out." I put my phone down again and let the chaos unfold without me. For once, I wasn't the one cleaning up her mess. That evening, my mother called again. I answered this time. "Why aren't you helping your sister?" she asked. Her voice sounded tired, not angry. "Because she lied," I said plainly. "She told everyone I wasn't coming. And she used my card to go." My mother sighed heavily. "She shouldn't have done that." There was a pause. "But freezing the card, was that necessary?" "Yes," I replied without hesitation. "She needs to understand that I'm not furniture she can move around when it suits her." Mom didn't argue because she knew I was right. "We will talk about this when we return," she said. "Fine," I answered. I ended the call and stared at the ceiling for a moment. For the first time in years, I felt like I had stood up for myself in a way she couldn't ignore or twist. My sister messaged again. I borrowed money from Aunt Lila temporarily. "But trust me, this isn't over." I rolled my eyes. She was embarrassed, cornered, exposed, so she lashed out in the only way she knew. I took a screenshot of her threat. Receipts were always useful. The next morning, drama erupted in the group chat. My cousins were posting jokes about my sister arguing with the receptionist. Someone else said she almost cried when the restaurant bill bounced back. I didn't comment. I just watched quietly. My father messaged privately, "Your sister seems upset. Do you know what happened?" I answered honestly, "She used my card without asking. I blocked it." He didn't respond immediately. When he did, he said, "She was wrong." Those words meant more than he realized. Meanwhile, my sister wasn't posting anything online. Her silence was the loudest thing she had ever said. Her embarrassment was doing all the work for me. And this was only the beginning. By the afternoon, more messages flooded the family group chat. A cousin sent a picture of my sister sitting alone at the resort cafe with her arms folded and her sunglasses pushed up like she had lost a battle with the sun. The caption he added was, "She's in a mood." Another cousin replied, "Maybe don't use someone else's card next time." Face with tears of joy. I didn't like drama, but a quiet part of me smiled. For once, people were seeing her without the spotlight she created for herself. She wasn't the charming sister everyone praised. She was the sister who lied, manipulated, and took advantage of me. I didn't comment, though. Keeping quiet made it hit harder. A little later, she finally messaged me again. "You ruined this whole trip for me." I responded, "No. You ruined it for yourself when you lied." She read the message but didn't reply. Maybe she finally realized there was nothing she could twist to make herself look innocent. By evening, she posted no photos, no videos, no boomerangs, no jokes, nothing at all. For someone who lived for attention, silence was the worst punishment possible. And it wasn't even something I forced. The truth had just caught up to her. On the third day of the reunion, my cousin sent me another update. "Your sister isn't hanging out with anyone today," he wrote. "She's moving around like she doesn't want to talk to anybody." Part of me felt a tiny flicker of pity. But the rest of me remembered the feeling of seeing that first video, everyone together, everyone joyful, everyone enjoying something she intentionally kept from me. So no, I didn't feel too sorry. A little discomfort wasn't going to break her. She needed to understand how deep her actions had cut me. That evening, she sent me a message that was clearly typed in anger, "You made me look like a thief." I answered her directly, "You used my card without permission." What should people call that? She took almost 10 minutes before responding, "Whatever. I'll explain everything when I get back." I didn't reply. Conversations with her usually ended with me apologizing first, even when she was the one at fault. Not anymore. I had flipped the script, and she didn't know how to handle a version of me who wouldn't bend. The power shift was new, for both of us, and it made her uncomfortable. Good. The last day of the reunion finally arrived. Once again, the group chat lighting up gave me a window into everything happening. People shared pictures of themselves hugging, laughing, taking photos by the pool, loading luggage into cars. Everyone seemed relaxed. Everyone except my sister. She didn't appear in a single photo. Not one. Later that afternoon, she sent me a long paragraph filled with anger, frustration, excuses, and a sprinkle of blame. She wrote things like, "You took it too far, you embarrassed me, and you didn't have to freeze the card." I read every word without any emotion. Then I responded with a short message, "I froze the card because you used it without permission." She replied, "You're still acting dramatic." The irony almost made me laugh. I typed back, "You left me out of a family event and lied about me. That's dramatic." There was no immediate reply. Just silence. And somehow that silence felt like a win, not because I wanted her hurt, but because she finally had nothing to say. She couldn't twist the truth anymore. When the whole family returned home, I expected someone to start a fight, but surprisingly, things were calm. My father called first. He came over that evening, and we sat at my small dining table. He didn't rush into the conversation. He just stared into his tea before finally saying, "Your sister told us everything." I kept quiet. "What she did was wrong," he continued. "Very wrong." I swallowed slowly. Hearing him say that out loud, it mattered. She shouldn't have lied to us, he added. And using your card without asking, that was stealing. I nodded. He sighed. But she is still your sister. I understood what he was trying to do. He wasn't defending her actions. He was reminding me that family bonds don't disappear overnight. She needs to apologize, I said simply. He nodded. She will. After he left, I sat in silence for a few minutes. The anger wasn't gone, but it wasn't burning the same way anymore. It was cooling into something steadier, something like resolve. I didn't want revenge just to hurt her. I wanted balance. Respect. Accountability. My sister showed up the next evening without warning. She knocked on my door like she expected me to swing it open immediately. I didn't. I waited a few seconds, then opened it slowly. She stepped inside without asking. Her arms were crossed, her face tight, her voice tense. "Can we talk?" she said. I nodded and sat down. She didn't sit right away. She paced a little, like she was planning her words. Finally she stopped, took a deep breath, and said, "I shouldn't have used your card." That was a start. "And?" I asked. She blinked. "And I shouldn't have told everyone you weren't coming." My chest tightened, not with anger, but with validation. Finally she said it. "Why did you do it?" I asked. She hesitated, chewing her lower lip. Then she said softly, "Because you always get attention. Because whenever we go anywhere, everyone asks about you first. I just wanted a reunion that didn't revolve around you." Her words surprised me. Not because I didn't think she could be jealous, but because she admitted it out loud. "So your solution was to erase me completely?" I asked. She looked down. "I know it sounds horrible." "It is horrible," I replied honestly. "You could have talked to me." She shrugged lightly. "I didn't think you'd understand." "You didn't even try," I said. She looked away, her expression tight. "I didn't want to hear you say the right thing again," she whispered. That sentence hit harder than I expected. My sister wasn't just jealous, she felt overshadowed. Not by my actions, but by how people treated us differently. I sighed. "You didn't have to hurt me to feel seen." She nodded. "I know." We stayed quiet for a moment. The tension softened slightly. Then she finally added, "Can you unfreeze the card now?" I raised an eyebrow. She rushed to add, "I'll pay you back. Every cent." "Yes," I said. "You will." Before she could walk out, I said, "One more thing." She turned. "You need to tell the whole family the full truth. Not half of it. Not watered down." She swallowed. "All of it?" "All of it," I repeated. She looked uncomfortable but nodded slowly. She knew it was fair. And she knew that if she didn't do it, the distance between us would never close. That night she sent a long message in the family group chat explaining everything, that she lied, that she used my card, that she kept me out intentionally. Some relatives expressed disappointment. Others expressed shock. A few even defended me openly. Seeing the truth come out publicly didn't make me proud, it made me breathe easier. It was justice, not revenge. My mother called after reading my sister's message. Her voice was soft. "I'm sorry she did that to you," she said. "You didn't deserve it." Those words were a balm on a wound I didn't even realize was so deep. "Thank you," I whispered. "And thank you for handling it the way you did," she added. "You didn't yell. You didn't insult her. You just demanded the truth." I smiled faintly. It was time. She agreed. We talked for a few more minutes before she hung up. For the first time in days, I felt light, like the weight on my chest had finally lifted. My sister's lie had hurt me deeply, but the truth had repaired something between me and the rest of the family. My sister stayed quiet for a couple of days. It wasn't the silence of pride, this time it was embarrassment. Reflection. Maybe even shame. Then one afternoon, she messaged me again. It was short, simple, and honest. I'm sorry. Really sorry. This time, I believed her. Maybe because she finally understood how her actions affected me. Maybe because she finally saw the consequences she had avoided for years. Or maybe because, for the first time ever, she wasn't trying to win, she was trying to fix. And that mattered. A week passed before my sister asked if she could come over again. This time, instead of arriving stiff and angry, she came in slowly, almost cautiously. She sat down without speaking, her fingers tapping lightly on her knees. I've been thinking, she said finally. About everything. I listened quietly. She continued, I didn't just lie because of jealousy. I lied because I didn't want to feel like the extra person again. Her honesty was unexpected. But you made me feel like an outsider, I replied softly. Like I didn't belong in my own family. She nodded quickly. I know. And I regret it. Her voice cracked a little, and for a moment, she looked like the version of her I used to know. The girl who protected me in school fights and shared her snacks when I forgot mine. That memory softened something inside me. I believe you, I said. But it doesn't erase what happened. She nodded again. I don't want it erased. I want to fix it. Her tone was different this time, not defensive, not self-pitying, just real. It felt like a turning point. One we both needed. We decided to take a walk that evening. The air was cool, and the sky had that soft orange glow that made everything calm. As we walked, she said, I didn't know how much my actions hurt you until I saw the group chat. Everyone talking about it, that's when it hit me. I looked at her carefully. You didn't think about it when you used my card? She winced. I told myself you wouldn't care. That you have, more than me. I stopped walking. This wasn't about money, I said. It was about respect. She sighed. I know. I just kept convincing myself that you'd forgive me no matter what. I shook my head slowly. That was the old me. She swallowed hard. Yeah. I see that now. Suddenly, she stopped and said, Thank you for finally standing up to me. That caught me by surprise. Why are you thanking me? I asked. Because I needed it, she answered. I needed to see myself through someone else's eyes. Her honesty felt heavier than the air around us. When we got back to my place, she pulled out an envelope. This is for the card, she said. I opened it and saw a stack of cash. You didn't have to bring it all at once, I told her. I wanted to, she said firmly. It's the least I can do. I placed the envelope on the table. Thank you, I said. She looked relieved, as if she had been holding her breath since the reunion. Then she added quietly, I also returned the gifts I bought with the card. That surprised me again. Returning things wasn't something she usually did. She was the type to keep everything, even if it wasn't hers. Why? I asked. She shrugged. It didn't feel right anymore. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said, Can we start over? Her voice trembled gently. I took a long breath. We can try, I said honestly. She smiled, small but real. And that was enough. A few days later, my family decided to organize a small dinner, nothing fancy, just something to bring everyone together after the messy reunion. When I walked in, people welcomed me with warm greetings, hugs, and smiles. It felt good. Healthy. Balanced. My sister was already seated at the table. When she saw me, she waved lightly. No tension. No bitterness. Just a quiet acknowledgement that things were changing. During the dinner, my aunt said, We're glad everything is settled now. I nodded. Me too. Then my cousin added jokingly, next time, we'll make sure no one is left out. Everyone laughed except my sister, who gave a tight but genuine smile. Toward the end of the evening, she tapped her glass gently and said, "I want to say something." The table quieted. "I made mistakes," she began. "Big ones. And I hurt someone who didn't deserve it. I'm sorry." My chest tightened, not from pain this time, but from the weight of hearing her admit it publicly. She meant it. And everyone could see that. After the dinner, we stepped outside together. The air was cool, and the street was calm. She whispered, "Was that okay?" I nodded. "It was more than okay." She smiled. I didn't know apologizing could feel so freeing. I chuckled softly. "It usually does when it's real." She nodded thoughtfully. "For years, I felt like I was competing with you. But you were never competing with me. I created that fight alone." I looked at her carefully. "Why?" She shrugged. "Because people always praised you. And instead of being proud of you, I felt threatened." I sighed gently. "You could have just talked to me." "I know," she whispered. "I'm learning." That simple sentence, the humility in it, felt like a doorway opening. Maybe not fully, but enough to step through. Over the next few weeks, our relationship shifted slowly but naturally. She started checking in on me. Not out of guilt, out of effort. Real effort. Sometimes she'd stop by with snacks. Other times she'd send random memes. We weren't suddenly perfect siblings, but we were trying. One afternoon, she said, "Do you think we'll ever go on a trip together again?" I raised an eyebrow. "With whose card?" She laughed, a real one this time. "Yours, if I ask nicely." I shook my head. "Nice try." She nudged me playfully. Okay. With mine." That little exchange felt like proof that we had moved past the old dynamics. We were building something new. Something honest. Something equal. And it felt good. One night, as I lay in bed thinking about everything that had happened, a strange feeling washed over me, gratitude. Not for the pain, but for the growth that came from it. If my sister hadn't lied. If she hadn't used my card. If she hadn't excluded me. I would have never stood up for myself the way I did. I would have never seen her vulnerable side. And she would have never faced the parts of herself she had been avoiding for years. That situation forced both of us to confront our truths. It wasn't revenge that fixed our relationship. It was honesty. Accountability. And the willingness to rebuild. Months later, we finally planned our own small trip, just the two of us. No family. No drama. No lies. When we boarded the plane, she handed me a small note. It read, "Thank you for not giving up on me." I looked at her and smiled. "We're starting over," I said. "No more hiding. No more lies." She nodded. Deal. As the plane took off, I realized something important. Sometimes the people who hurt us the most are the ones who need our boundaries the most. And sometimes, standing up for yourself doesn't destroy a relationship, it rebuilds it stronger than before. But tell me, have you ever forgiven someone who hurt you deeply? Or do you think some things can never be fixed?